September has come and gone. We're a week or so into October here. So let's talk about everything I watched in September. I watched 32 movies, 31 feature, one short. I don't watch a lot of short films, but there was one that my wife and I wanted to watch. So we checked that out on, it was on YouTube for that one. But let's talk about everything that I watched in September. I didn't see a ton in theaters last month. It was mostly physical media and streaming. I know I'm a physical media collector, but I still stream movies. Just things I don't have in my collection that we wanted to watch. So first up, my wife and I went to Netflix and we watched Woman of the Hour starring Anna Kendrick. I gave this one 4 stars on Letterboxd. I thought it was a really good true crime thriller. Interesting story. I had never heard of it prior to seeing the movie, so it was kind of interesting that it was a based on a true story. So I thought it was good. I thought Anna Kendrick was good. I forget the guy's name that played the bad guy. What's his name? Daniel Zavato. He was the kind of the chilling bad guy in this one. Very good performance on his part. So that was Woman of the Hour. Again, I gave that one 4 stars on Letterboxd. Then I watched Cobra here. This is the Arrow 4K that came out. I gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. This is just a classic 80s Stallone movie. There's not a whole lot about this that I could say that you probably don't already know. It's just a really fun 80s action with kind of some slasher elements, right? I know we're in just spooky season here, September and October. So there are some kind of like dark slasher moments and themes in this one. So that is Cobra, again, 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. Then we checked out Unknown Number, the high school catfish story. I gave it 5 stars. It is a wild documentary, or should I say documentary. If you have not seen it, check it out. It's just a weird story. Very interesting. Kind of, I don't want to call it design, but just the way they interviewed the people and like how it ended up turning out in the end. Just a really bizarre, really messed up story altogether. So that's Unknown Number. Again, I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was a really good documentary. Then I checked out the 2 film collection of Gremlins and Gremlins 2, the new batch. I watched this for a video that I did earlier with the top 5 double features. So I'll link that down below. I know I've talked about it a couple of times here. That was issued by Huck over at Huck's Pop Culture Cafe. So make sure you check that video out. Gremlins is an all-time classic. Gremlins 2, the new batch is just as good. These are both 5-star movies on Letterboxd for me. I absolutely love these movies to no end. Fantastic stuff. My wife and I went back to streaming and we watched all 4 Shrek movies. Shrek, Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, Shrek Forever After. I think I had only seen the first 2 prior to this little movie marathon we did. We've been working our way through all of the Justin Timberlake movies. I know I mentioned that earlier in a video. My wife is a big fan of his, so we've been trying to catch up on all his movies. So he is in Shrek the Third. So the first Shrek, fantastic movie. I gave that one 5 stars. Michael Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, just John Lithgow, fantastic cast. Just a really fun animated feature there. Shrek 2, I like that one as well. 4 stars. You get a lot of the same cast returning for that one. Shrek the Third, I gave that one 3 stars. It was all right. But Shrek Forever After kind of surprised me. I gave that one 4 stars. It was a lot better than I expected for a 4th movie in a franchise. So overall, the 4 Shrek movies are just really fun watches. So highly recommend just doing them as a marathon because I thought that was a lot of fun. We watched them over 2 days. We watched the first 3 one day, and then Forever After we watched the day after. But those are all really great movies. So then we watched the short film and we watched Vlog. I believe we saw this on YouTube. This is just an interesting look at the life of an internet celebrity, balancing her successful vlog and her home life with her husband and two little children. This is directed and starring Yvonne Strahovski. I may have butchered her last name. I apologize. She's most known from the TV show Chuck back in the early 2000s, as well as The Handmaid's Tale. I thought it was a really, really good little short film. I gave it 4 stars. It is up on Letterboxd, so there are short films there that you guys can rate and log on your Letterboxd there. So I give it 4 stars. I thought it was really, really interesting, kind of funny, dramatic storyline there. So really good overall was Vlog. When we streamed another movie, we watched The Thursday Murder Club. It's a interesting movie, very similar to kind of like Only Murders in the Building meets The Man on the Inside. I don't know if you guys watched either of those two shows. It's a really good movie starring Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, Ben Kingsley, and Celia Imrie. Not familiar with her work, but all 4 of them were fantastic in this movie. I did give it 3.5 stars. I thought it was very enjoyable, just a really kind of fun movie about a bunch of old people that are in this murder club and are trying to solve murders. I thought it was really well done. Again, very kind of Only Murders in the Building vibe and The Man on the Inside. If you haven't seen that show, it's with Ted Danson. I believe it's on Netflix. Check it out. It's really good. And then I actually saw some movies in theaters. I went and saw The Conjuring, The Last Rites. I recently just watched the entire Conjuring franchise a month or 2 ago, just to kind of get ready for this. I hadn't seen them before. Last Rites, I gave 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. I thought it was pretty good. Ghost stories and kind of like these supernatural horror movies. Those are the ones that really kind of get to me as far as like horror films go. So I liked it. 3.5 stars. I thought it was a solid entry into such a long and vast franchise. And if it is the last of the Conjurings, I thought it was a good way to close it out. The day after that, I went and saw The Long Walk. My wife and I went and saw this one. I gave this 5 stars on Letterboxd. It's going to be in my top 5 for the year, I think. Just a really, really good movie. It's an adaptation of a Stephen King short story. I have not read that short story, but I just thought overall just a really good, kind of heart-wrenching movie. The cast was great. Very young cast. Kind of not very well-known actors. But it's led by Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson. David Johnson, I think, stole the movie. I thought he was really good in this one. And of course, you've got Mark Hamill as the general in this one. He's just kind of like this dark, kind of asshole character. He did a good job as well. But The Long Walk is one of my favorites that I've seen so far this year. Really, really good movie. Very, very well done. And then another double feature that I did for the top 5 double features was The Addams Family and Addams Family Values. Just really fun early 90s comedy. I gave both of these 5 stars on Letterboxd. I absolutely love these movies. I watched them all the time when I was younger, and they're just so good. They hold up. If you have not seen these in a long time, I recommend you rechecking these ones out because they are a lot of fun and they are a really good double feature. All right, next up, I wanted to watch this franchise for a while, and I had the 4-film box set here, so I dove into these. I watched these over the course of 3 days in kind of the mid-September. Again, it's spooky season, so I wanted to kind of watch some horror movies here, so we watched the Shrek franchise. Again, watched all 4 of these just in a row, and these were interesting. Like I said, I'd never seen these. They're found footage horror films here. The first one I gave 3.5 stars. The second one I gave 3 stars. I thought both of the first 2 were pretty good. I think these were, again, I was talking about how like kind of ghost stories really get to me. I think there was a lot of stuff in these that did get to me. There's one scene in the first one that like I couldn't take my eyes off the screen, but I knew it was coming. It's if you've seen the movie, it's an attic. You know, he sticks his head up into the attic, and he's you know turning, and you don't see anything, and all of a sudden something jumps out of him. That one, it got me. It scared the shit out of me. So overall, again, 3.5 for the first film, 3 stars for the second film. Rec 3 Genesis, this one takes a bit of a turn. I do like how it ties to the first one, but it doesn't have the same cast and it's not in the same like apartment building. This one takes place at a wedding, but there is a tie-in to the first film that I thought was a nice little touch. The movie wasn't great. I gave Genesis 2.5 stars. Yeah, it's just the weakest of the first three for sure. And then Rec 4 Apocalypse brings back the main character from the first two movies. So she's back, and I gave that one 3 stars. I thought Rec 4 Apocalypse was surprisingly pretty good for the fourth film in this franchise. These are really kind of a fun quadrilogy. I don't think they made any more of these. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they only made 4 of these, and they came in this nice box set from Scream Factory. So I added this one during a sale sometime, I think earlier this year I got these. But yeah, that is the entire Rec franchise that I checked out. And then I checked out the next two. I got these from Chris, Bearded Film Guy. I mentioned to him we did a quick little meetup down in South Jersey not too long ago, and he was selling off a few things from his collection, so I took these off his hands, and that was See No Evil and See No Evil 2. This one was a rewatch. This was a first-time watch. See No Evil, I gave these, interesting. I gave this one a little bit better of a rating. I didn't think of that. But See No Evil I gave 2 stars. See No Evil 2 I gave 2.5 stars. And I think I only gave it the extra half a star because of Danielle Harris, classic Scream Queen in this one. They're not great movies, but they are fun, bloody slasher movies. Kane from the WWE, what's his name, Glenn Jacobs, not the best actor, not the best actor to come out of WWE, but really kind of just fun, dumb slashers in the 2 See No Evil movies. And then to round out the month, I spent, let's see, how many days did I watch these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I watched these over the course of 9 days. So this is 11 movies in 9 days. Not too bad. But I finally checked out all of the Hellraiser movies. These were all first-time watches for me. I had never seen these before, but I had wanted to check them out. I had purchased the really awesome Quartet of Torment from Arrow, this box set. I showed this off, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here as far as showing this off, but I dove into this. I watched the 4 movies that are in this, and then I ended up borrowing the rest of the franchise from my friend Greg because I did not have any of the other movies on physical media, and he happened to have all of them. So let's just jump into this. We will kind of run through my Letterboxd ratings for all of them. So for Hellraiser, the first movie, I gave that one 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I really liked it. Doug Bradley is fantastic. One thing I think is interesting, I've talked about how I didn't watch a lot of horror when I was younger. I got scared easily as a kid, but watching the Hellraiser movie here and just remembering not wanting to watch it as a child, I don't know why I even thought that, because it's not that scary of a movie. It's a really good movie. The practical effects are fantastic. Clive Barker is known for his practical effects, so I really enjoyed Hellraiser. Again, 4.5 stars for that one. Hellbound Hellraiser 2, I also gave 4.5 stars. I thought it was a fantastic sequel. Again, Doug Bradley, very good. You have Ashley Lawrence, and she returns from the first one. Really good actress in both movies. I thought that she was great. Um, Overall, the first two movies are super solid, and I'm glad I finally kind of dove into those. Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. This is where it kind of starts to go downhill a little bit. I gave that one 3 stars. Still a pretty decent movie. Again, the practical effects in the franchise, top notch. Can't really beat them. Um, the Hellraiser 3, I gave that one 3 stars. And then Hellraiser Bloodline, which is also in this box set, but it's also in this set here that I borrowed from my friend. Um, I thought it was pretty good. I gave that one 3 stars as well. Kind of right there in middle of the pack as far as like the rating go. But yeah, I thought Bloodline was pretty good. You get kind of 3 different generations. Starts off in space, and I was like, is this going to be too much like Leprechaun in space? But it wasn't, and it kind of jumps back in time. You get Adam Scott in it. He looks ridiculous, but really interesting to see him kind of in like in an early role in this horror movie here. So again, that's Hellraiser Bloodline with 3 stars. So that wrapped up the Quartet of Torment box set, and then I jumped into the releases that my friend lent me. Again, I had already seen Bloodline from the first one, so I watched that on 4K. So from this set, I watched Inferno was the next one. I gave that one 3 stars as well. This is the one. Let me just double check something. I think this is the one where Ashley Lawrence comes back. No, sorry. Inferno is Craig Sheffer. Craig Sheffer, Nicholas Turturro, and James Remar in Inferno. Totally forgot that. I'm mixing up my movies here, but yeah, I thought it was good. Again, this one was 3 stars. Let me go back. I keep looking over. I have my Letterboxd up over on the side here. But again, Inferno I thought was interesting. Damn, I totally forgot. Craig Sheffer, James Remar, and Nicholas Turturro. I thought it was pretty good. Again, 3 stars for that one. And then we have Hellraiser Hellseeker. This is the one where Ashley Lawrence comes back. And then you also have Dean Winters, who, if you don't know him, he's from Oz. He was on Special Victims Unit for the first couple seasons, most notably for like TV. But I felt like Hellseeker was like the least Hellraiser movie. I gave it 2 stars. I was happy to see Ashley Lawrence come back and reprise her role from the first few movies, but I feel like it was almost kind of like wasted potential. She wasn't in the movie that much. And I don't know, I just didn't really care for the payoff of how Hellseeker ended. So, not a huge fan of Hellseeker. And then this says Hellworld, but before Hellworld was Hellraiser Deader. I liked this one less than Hellseeker. I gave this one 1 star on Letterboxd. I didn't really care for this one too much. Who is the actress? I gotta go find the actress name. I can't read the back of this. So, what is her name? Carrie Werrer. Yeah, I couldn't remember the actress's name. She looked very familiar. I'm not sure what else I've seen her in, but I don't know. I just didn't really care for Hellraiser Deader. This one got 1 star from me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. Not the worst Hellraiser, but not the best either. And then we jumped back into this 4-film set for Hellworld. So that one, I actually was kind of surprised about Hellworld. I gave it 2.5 stars on Letterboxd. It's got an interesting cast with Henry Cavill. And then you have Kari Payton from The Walking Dead, and of course Lance Henriksen. I don't know. I thought it was an interesting concept. I thought it was really good. 2.5 stars. There was a At a Place roundhouse kick in this one. By the actress is Catherine Winnick, who has been in I think she was from Vikings, was what she's most known for as far as like TV shows go. Um, but I don't know. I was surprised by Hellworld. I liked it better than I thought I was going to. And seeing kind of a young Henry Cavill way before his Superman days was interesting. So that wrapped up this 4 film set there. And then we get into Hellraiser Revelations, which is the first non Doug Bradley Hellraiser. This movie's a piece of crap. I gave it a half a star. It's just really bad. I mean, I'm glad I watched it because I wanted to see this entire franchise kind of play out. But I think even Clive Barker, I think, didn't want to have anything to do with this. His name is on the back of this, but I'm not sure he really had any involvement in the making of this one. I could be wrong. I don't know. He is an executive producer. I don't know. It's just based on the characters created by. So I guess they kind of have to give him credit for that. But I don't even think he produced it. No, he's not. He's not on here as a producer. But this is just a terrible movie. I don't know. Even this Pinhead just did not look and feel like our normal Doug Bradley Pinhead. So that's Revelations with a half a star on Letterboxd. And then you get Hellraiser Judgment, which also does not have Doug Bradley in it, and it doesn't even have the same guy who played him in Revelation. So they recasted Pinhead again. I give this one 1 star. It was an interesting concept. I just did not care for, again, the payoff on this one, and I didn't really care how this one played out. Acting wasn't that great. Yeah, I don't know. These kind of went to shit after Bradley left, and I give Deader 1 star, so that was the lowest in the Doug Bradley Hellraisers. But yeah, this one, Judgment, I feel like I liked the concept of it. I just didn't really like how it played out. Didn't care for the acting. Just, yeah, not good. But 1 star for Judgment. And then, of course, you have the 2022 remake, Hellraiser here. So this was Hulu. Yeah, this was released on Hulu, I think, from 20th Century Fox. I'm not even sure if this is a legit 4K release here. But I was surprised by it. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't really have high hopes for it after kind of working my way through the franchise. And there was not even a really large gap because Judgment came out in 2018. This came out in 2022. So I don't know. I think it was good. It had some really good practical effects. Again, that was kind of the one thing that I really enjoyed about all of the Hellraisers was the practical effects. Toward the later ones, you do get some CGI in there that is pretty dated in some of the like late 80s, early 90s ones. The CGI in this one's a little bit more top notch because we've come a long way in that aspect. But I enjoyed Hellraiser remake here. I thought it was pretty good. A little bit different take on like the puzzle cube and the different shapes that it takes. It didn't, when you go back to all the original ones, it really just kind of stayed a cube for the most part. And this one, there's different like iterations of it. So they at least kind of explain the different, the different looks of the cube as it's moving through the progressions of the story. So overall, Hellraiser remake, 3 stars on Letterboxd. Again, that was it. 31 movies in the month of September. I am working through another franchise right now that I will hopefully be doing a live ranking on the channel here in maybe a week or two. Sometime here in October, I will do a live ranking. So once I have that squared away, I will get that set up. I'll let you all know about it. Maybe there will be a giveaway on it. I'm not sure just yet. I gotta work out the logistics there. If I'm going to do a giveaway, I will let you guys know ahead of time so that you can enter that giveaway. But we will see where we go. So let me know down in the comments below, what did you guys watch in September? Are you watching a lot of horror movies now that we are in spooky season? We got Halloween a few weeks away here. So let me know what you've been watching. I hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this out with your movie-loving friends. I'm on Letterboxd, Instagram, and Facebook. I will drop a link in the description below to all those social media platforms. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.